Welcome to episode. Is this episode 7?
6?
What? I wasn't.
Episode 6.
Wait. I wasn't on episode 1?
No, this is episode 6.
This is blasphemy.
Episode 6 of the Real Estate Disasters podcast. We are here today with Michael J. Anderson. I don't know what his middle initial is.
It's not Jay, but
I don't know what his middle
I think I need
initial
to
is.
storm out because I wasn't first.
Yeah, well, you were invited to be our first guest, but you weren't available for a week, and we did 2 podcasts in that time.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Yeah, almost.
What was I doing? Was it like a lost weekend of
Well,
blow?
in all fairness, I called you on Wednesday night to see if you were available on Thursday night, and you weren't.
All right, we're gonna do this live. I just got my realtor just texted me. They said 125 is the highest that he'll go.
Except,
And wait. You're saying it's a horseshit property,
Yeah,
like a crap box?
it's gonna need like 40 grand.
Where is it at? I mean, don't tell me the address. Just
Amish country.
Amish country. What?
it's in Shipshewana, Indiana.
All right, so like you're like talking UP, Michigan.
As far as you're
Yeah.
concerned,
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
man, you don't go north of State Street. Sell that crap. Be done with it. There's no reason to go to fucking UP.
You're making 90 grand. I don't know why you're sighing, you little bitch. You're like, I'm only going to make $90,000.
Honestly,
Shut the fuck up and accept it.
When he was crying earlier, he said it was like 87.
It's 87.5 would be the
Oh,
gross.
See?
no.
See, if it were 90, he could fucking be in.
That's great. Hang on one sec. I'm just going to ask my phone something. What is the average income for somebody in northern Indiana annually?
I'd like to point
Hang
out.
on. What do you think the average annual this is a household income.
65.
43,500.
Split the difference. A lot closer to Mike's though. $60,929 is the yearly. So you just made more than the average family. And how much time would you say you put into this deal?
At least
4 minutes.
at least 10 hours.
10 hours.
Do you want me to do the math?
That's a terrible.
You're only making like like $8,700 an hour.
We're not putting this in the podcast.
We are putting this in the podcast. Fuck
Wait,
it.
it's in the podcast, but let's ask a real question now that I'm driving this podcast. These guys thought they were in control. Anyway, what was your basis?
37.5.
So, and your sell price is?
If it closes 125
So that's like 87,000, right?
gross,
5%
closing costs.
So, man, I always felt that if you're doing a 1031 exchange, it was worth it north of 100,000. It was garbage less than 100,000.
So it's garbage.
Like less than 100,000.
He's saying it's
and
garbage to
just-
1031.
Yeah. No,
1031.
because 1031 will cost you $5,000.
I wasn't going to 1031 either way.
All right, so man, at under 100,000, you just accept it. You give goddamn Uncle Joe a third of it.
Yep.
Which is morally repentant, horrible to me. So man, you're gonna walk with 50 grand.
A little more than that.
Yeah, hopefully more than that.
It'll be more than that.
Oh, after taxes.
No,
After
man.
taxes,
Uncle Joe's taking goddamn $25,000-$30,000. He is.
Okay, so let's say even if you did make $50,000, which I feel like is on the low end, let's talk about like the amount of time you put into it, which is 10 hours roughly, which you might be rounding up on that.
Dude,
So
I'm not lifting
if
a
you
finger.
put 10 hours in at $50,000, that's $5,000 an hour. Logan is doing just fine.
Why would you even get out of bed for less than $6,000 an hour?
Well, because not all of us are 30 years in the business, but that does bring us back to our point. So if you don't know Mike Anderson,
You're lucky.
Mike Anderson is a hell of a guy. Mike, how long have you been investing?
1994.
94.
I wasn't even born yet. 95.
I was about 4 years old, or 5 maybe.
So
depending
you're
on
saying
what
you're
part.
ancient?
Yeah, I was born in 89, baby.
89 was
89.
a righteous year. I was driving a 1976 Ford Granada.
Yeah.
And it was just, anyway, I'm not going to go into it, but it's a righteous year.
Okay.
Righteous.
All right. So, if you don't know Mike, he's one of the most, I'm going to say outspoken investors in Fort Wayne. He's been investing for forever, and you own a fuck ton of units now.
I don't know.
I mean, we're north of 300 though, right?
I don't know. When you're first starting out and you're early on, when you have 10, when you have 20, when you... honest to God, there's a point where it just doesn't matter anymore. And the only reason to know how many units you have is to tell other real estate investors and go, Hey, I've got 200 units. I remember when I had 200 units. The reality of it is that there's not a contest between landlords. There's no metric. I mean, like if you're ever playing a game online and you're like, oh, I'm 14th. I've got to kill the Cyclops or whatever the hell it is to get to 13. It doesn't make any difference. No banker's ever going to ask you what you have.
So why keep buying?
Because it's fun.
There you go. That's the answer I wanted.
Honestly, it's fun.
Yeah.
Do you think anybody makes it as long into the real estate investing game as you've made it without enjoying it?
No.
No, you don't think so?
No. And in fact, I tell everybody every time, I'm going to get up real close, but I tell everybody every time that your first deal, just freaking do it.
Yeah.
You know, how many people sit around and go, I've been attending the RIA for 3 years in a row, and someday... No. You know what you'll never do? Fail on your first deal. If you're actually attending RIA meetings... by the way, I'm sorry I'm hijacking. This is a...
Hey, you're our
Mike,
guest.
we want you to talk. Go ahead.
This is a message going out to all those people who never bought anything. You with me? All right, perfect. All right, buy it.
Yeah.
You know how you get money for a deal? You get it under contract because you just figure it out after that. It doesn't even matter. You borrow from your parents, your friends, your family, your high school, but whatever it takes, you figure it out once it's under. If you're terrified and you haven't started out, just get it under goddamn contract. It's going to happen.
Just do it.
And then on top of that, Bobby, the moment you have it under, you buy it. And you're going to buy it stupidly. You're going to make mistakes. It's just the way it is. You're not going to fail on that first deal because you're going to move heaven and earth to make it happen. You may never invest in anything ever again in your life. But that first deal is not going to go sideways. Get off your ass and do it.
So let me ask you this, though. And this is a genuine question. This isn't me like on a podcast trying to come up with a good question. I think that everybody sitting in this room will move heaven and earth on that first deal. But I don't think that everybody in the world would move heaven and earth on that first deal.
I disagree.
You think every single person?
I think that anybody who is going to one of the two RIA meetings that happened in Fort Wayne, you've either got the one up there at Mike Thomas, or
that would be the Fort Wayne Real Estate Investors Association, hosted by yours truly. First Wednesday of every month at 5:30 at the Mike Thomas Realtor office.
All right. I'm not going to mention the other one and where it is
because it doesn't
when
really
it
exist.
happens.
The other one sucks.
But anyway, that one time, that was the one.
It was. I remember going to that one.
It was. And I was a speaker there 2-3 times a year, and I had some great spiels, right? But the reality of it is that if you've been going to RIA meetings, you're invested. You're going to go.
That's fair.
This is a public service announcement outside of this thing. The reality is, if you're watching this, you've never bought anything, get something under goddamn contract. I assure you.
Yeah, but you've seen the people
You'll
who
make
go
it work.
who go the RIA and they'll
No.
go time and time again.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think to Mike's point here, if those people would just get out of their own fucking head and actually buy something, then they'd be in the game.
Well, yeah.
You just
it's
But think about
it happens.
Think about how many people that is like, oh, I'm just waiting for the market to drop. I bought my first property in 2018. They were waiting, and here we are in 2022, and they're still waiting.
well, it's like how many
Absolutely.
people want to get in shape, but they're too nervous to go to the fucking gym.
We call those
Like-
people cowards. That I believe it's the technical name.
Yeah,
Just get off your ass and put something under contract. You'll be amazed at how well you do. And worst case scenario is that if you're terrified and you buy something, you get something under contract, you're going to figure out the frickin' money. You just are.
Well,
and then you're going to figure out the rehab. You just are, because you're not going to feel in your first. If all you do is break even, which,
That's a
by the
win.
way,
It's a
you're not going to do worse than that. You'll have the understanding. You'll have residual long-term income. Buy a freaking duplex, and you'll be set. And you never have to do it fucking again. And are you looking at me? You take that duplex that you're totally done with, and you sell it to Bobby Klein, because he's buying.
That's true. Bring all your duplexes my way. I actually do have a private money lender right now who is begging me to spend some money. And the thing is, you don't know how many people are out there who have that fucking problem, right? Right now, I looked at 7 properties today alone.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was like all day. I had Jordan Wildman. Shout out to Jordan Wildman. Had him on his birthday today.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Jordan. Going all over northern Indiana, showing me properties because I have a private money lender who's just begging me to spend this money, and I got to find something to put it in. And to the point of getting something under contract, I had a conversation with a dude at our last RIA meeting who had something under contract that he fully was trying to find funding and he wanted to keep and all that. He was unable to find the funding for this deal, but was under contract and ended up wholesaling it and making like 10 grand. So even though he didn't get to keep the deal, he was still up 10 fucking grand, which if you're not in real estate yet, 10 grand is probably a life-changing amount of fucking money for you.
That amazes me. Because my experience is the second you get something under contract, you move heaven and earth and you make it work.
Well, he was doing that. He was trying to find the money, but then when he didn't find the money, he found buyers. So who knows? I don't know. Maybe he could have done things.
He found a
differently.
solution no matter what.
Either way, he's up 5 fucking figures. He's doing great.
That's awesome. So basically, what you're saying is, if you get something under contract and you're unloved, so nobody will help you buy it.
Yeah.
You still make money.
Yeah.
It's not your fault that you're unloved.
Yeah.
You can still make money.
Well, and the more money you make, the more people will love you. Write that down.
That's why wholesalers are adored and hated.
Yeah. I despise wholesalers.
I know.
But
My boy Logan's a wholesaler.
I understand.
It's okay. Let's
I know
do
I
it.
despise them.
I know. I get it. Hi, Michael.
Hi.
I might call your phone. Hi, Michael.
I despise that as well.
Yeah. Well, because you get calls all the time, so you hate wholesalers.
I despise
get it.
wholesalers. Now, this is a world premiere. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, it is.
I have wholesaled.
I know. Because you're in real estate.
Dude, I'm not a wholesaler and I wholesale. Like, it's what it is.
I despise wholesalers with a passion.
Why?
Drive me nuts because, honestly,
Yeah.
because in my neighborhood, I'm an old house nerd. Mm-hmm. That's really what I am. Everybody goes, oh, he's an investor. No, dude, I'm an old house nerd. I wear a goofy old man hat. I wear shorts. I wear Crocs, sandals, right?
Those legs, damn.
Oh, my God. You know, when you're as sexy as I am, you can do
Those
this.
Crocs are in 4x4, too. They're latched in the back and everything.
You are in full dad mode right now,
I
for
am.
sure. You are a dad, though, so you've earned
Man,
it.
you
Like,
see these Crocs?
Yeah.
I wore those through an entire year of coaching.
I'm pretty sure there's a nail in the bottom of that.
There might be.
Yeah.
I wore them through an entire year of coaching middle school soccer, both boys and girls, because I have extra kids. And I would go out on the field and I'd kick with these.
Why do you hate wholesalers? I have a guess on why you hate wholesalers,
man.
but let's hear it.
So you really want to come down to it. I will not out him. But the first person I ever met that was a wholesaler operated exclusively in West Central. And he is an extremely now.
Hey, I'm a pause you. What's West Central for our listeners who aren't from Fort Wayne?
All right, so man, West Central proper, if you will, is West Wayne and West Berry Street
Of Fort Wayne, Indiana.
of Fort Wayne, Indiana. And then because of people buying in and doing things, it went down to like Jefferson. And now West Central proper is probably Main Street to the railroad track. West Central itself goes down to Taylor, just across from West Central, goes to Calhoun. I mean, all of downtown that's cool, the ballpark,
That's cool now.
the dash in, anything is in West Central. We don't have the jail, but West Central is, you know when you go to a college town and there's the college and there's always that old neighborhood next to it that's just the coolest goddamn thing you ever saw. Mm-hmm. That's West Central, only our college left.
Yeah.
I talked to you about that today.
We talked about that today. But anyway, okay, so I'm sorry, you were talking about the
So
wholesaler.
there was a guy, and he is a broker in town, and I like him. Our kids go to school together. I won't out him. He would buy houses in West Central for 40 grand. I mean, this is back in the day. And he'd do nothing, and he'd pump them out for 60 or 80.
Yeah. That's wholesale.
He added zero value, which that's wholesale. But here's my position. An end user could have used that property and saved the 40 grand, and that 40 grand could have gone back in the property. And I understand I'm not your average investor.
Yeah, it's not very capitalistic of you.
No, man. I'm an old house nerd. I really want these great properties to work. I mean, I don't even want to leave downtown. If you go north of Spring or south of Taylor, I don't know. I don't even want to go there. We're currently filming somewhere in the UP in Michigan. I think we're in Canada. It's way north, and it's horrible.
We're on DuPont.
We're in Fort Wayne still.
I think it's Canada.
So I get it. I do.
And that's what it is, because I got to tell you, man, I love my neighborhood. I was the president of my neighborhood for multiple years, on and off. I still sit on the board of my neighborhood. And so if I put my neighborhood hat on, I'm fucking all this up, but I put my neighborhood hat on, wholesalers are predators.
Yeah. And I get it. If you talk to I'm not wholesaling that much anymore because I made my money wholesaling. So now I can wholesale, which is just buying them, not doing any value, and listing them as is, which I don't know how long that gravy train's going to last now. I mean, you might have to actually start doing some work. But I get your point. When I talk to other wholesalers, some of them think they're doing, the Lord's work. They're doing great stuff. I feel like I see it a little more realistically. Like, we're not providing a huge value, but we're helping flippers get their houses and then creating nice houses. It's the part on HGTV you don't see, because you see the flippers who get these houses that they're renovating. Well, who sold them the house? You don't see the dirty part of it, because it's not as romantic as the lovely couple Chip and JoJo who are flipping the house and doing the work. They don't include the wholesaler that sold in that house and made a nice little profit for not doing a lot of work. I get it. We don't do a lot of work, but it gave me the best real estate knowledge I've ever had. Like,
my God. Yeah. And I understand the value, and I'm clearly, for the first time in my entire lifetime, stating now publicly on this broadcast that I have wholesaled. Yeah. And you want to really be hypocritical?
You did it in West Central.
I did it in West Central. You want to be even more hypocritical?
Yes.
I make a delineation. It's arbitrary. It's subjective. It's capricious. Wholesalers that actually take title, I don't really have a problem with. It's the paper guys.
Yeah.
Because they're stealing value out of the house. I was a paper guy in West Central on a few deals.
Stealing value or finding value?
Here's the thing.
Anthony, if you watch this, yeah, I'm totally talking about your deal.
Okay. So, I'm going to step in here and
mediate.
I'm going to argue the other side of this, which is, as someone who, as I stated earlier...
Wait. He's one side, I'm the other. What other side do you have?
Hang on. Let me come in here, because you guys are both talking about, stealing value and all that. And I don't disagree with you, but I am going to tell you, as somebody who's sitting here right now, who has a private money lender who is begging me to find a use for, a couple $100,000, I would be stoked for a wholesaler to come in and make money off of me right now.
You're going to come knock on my door.
So I could get these fucking deals done so I could make some goddamn money. So I'm just going to argue the other side, that they do provide value, because they're out there working their ass off finding the deals.
Flippers.
And everybody knows sales is where all the money is. So to me, they are providing a tremendous service.
I'm confident that everybody at this table understands sales and is extremely adept at it. Fair?
Yeah. I think flippers have most of the time, I'm going to generalize here, they are good at flipping. They are not good at marketing. I am not good at flipping. I can't swing a hammer. I'm good at marketing. And I'm not even that good at marketing. I'm just doing it where no one else really is.
Where I came from was, so like doctors become very specialized, right? That didn't used to be the case. I mean, let's go back to the goddamn 90s or whatever it is. You did everything. And so I had to learn marketing. I had to learn this. I had to learn that. I had to learn it all. But really, I think the point that everybody should take from this is that Bobby Klein is sitting on $200,000 and he has to spend it. So I don't know if he's sharing his cell phone number, but you should be calling Bobby Klein, because he's got $200,000 burning a hole in his pocket.
Hit me up on Instagram, Bobby Klein 89.
See?
Yeah.
I really think that's the takeaway. I can still love Logan, even though, he's morally suspect. But
That's fair. I said I'm not wholesaling it. I'm wholetailing.
all right, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Which is taking a bigger spread and still doing no work.
Logan's doing God's work.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think the gravy train's on its way out of being able to just buy these houses, not do anything to create some value, and then just selling them as is. I do think that is on its way out for a while. It'll come back at some point, but
So, Mike, you've been investing for, you said, since 94? Okay. So, what was your first property?
So, I'm 23 years old. I'm out of college, and I'm working in a bank building in downtown Fort Wayne. And I'm wearing a suit and tie. All right, Logan's giving me a hard time. I got to sit up. Hi, how you doing? All right, so I'm wearing a suit and tie. I'm working in downtown Fort Wayne. It was the Fort Wayne National Bank building at the time. And I bought into the American lie. I'm sorry. I bought into the American dream, where you're supposed to go and buy a tan cramp box way out in the suburbs on a winding road named after a tree or an animal, and slowly die as you care about your lawn. I mean, you know the American dream, right?
that's where I live.
Yeah, exactly. You bought into the American dream. Well, out of curiosity, you don't have to out yourself, but in general, every single name of your neighborhood is named after a tree or an animal, right?
We have a lot of town names so I'm between there's Cleveland, Superior, Baxter. I don't know.
Super shocked.
All of my shit is named after trees.
First, third, fifth, seventh.
Of course it is.
Yeah, Shady Court, Oakdale.
Well, but
all that
you
stuff over there.
live in a place where people have souls.
Yes.
All right, so we'll talk to the soulless like Logan. Anyway,
I'm here for you.
the reality of it is that I too was going to go out and man, I was looking specifically at a house in Kikiyanga Shores, which backs up to what is now the Jorgensen YMCA or YWCA, whatever the hell that is. And it was going to be great, and I was going to raise my... Well, when I was in college, you remember when you were walking through the Union Hall and some guy goes, hey, come here, man, I got a free bottle of Mountain Dew and a T-shirt. Mm-hmm. You know what came attached to that was a credit card.
Hell yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. So the reality of it was I had about 11 credit cards in college that I completely maxed out trying to buy Purple Passion illegally because I was too young. You remember Purple Passion?
No, I assumed you meant weed.
No.
I thought it was heroin.
Dude, I wish I was savvy enough to smoke weed in college, but I was a moron. So a Purple Passion was a 2-liter bottle of Everclear and some fruity thing.
Okay.
And chicks,
so like jungle juice.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Chicks dug it. When you threw a party on your floor that the RA was away, or you bennied his ass in, you dump tons of Purple Passion, some fruit, some extra vodka. Anyway, I maxed out all my cards.
Oh, that's good.
And then there's this compact, and the compact says, go to college. It's going to cost you way goddamn too much. You're going to take a whole bunch of classes that absolutely do not matter in any way to your degree. That's how everybody takes biology. Oh, you got to sit back.
Yeah,
See?
breathing right
He
in the
breathes
microphone.
into the mic so much. He's like,
He's in his story. Shut up. Don't embarrass me.
Luke, I am your father. All right. So the reality of it is that it was a different world, right? Like I grew up before society was nerfed. Like we rode in the back of pickup trucks. Awesome. But now society is just nerfed. It's terrible. For all those years, my entire student loan debt was like 20 grand. Nowadays it's like 100 plus grand.
How many years?
4.
Okay.
20 grand. I'm old, baby.
That's $5,000 a year. That's great, baby.
I'm old.
you still paying those off?
No.
The lowest interest you can get, baby.
Man, I'm not going to go into the story, but the reality of it is that I owned rental properties, and I realized the best move that I could make was to rent out the half of the duplex I lived in, and I moved into my parents' basement rent-free at 29 years old.
Wow.
And I lived there when I was 20, 29, 30, and 31. And in those 2 to 3 years, I paid off every single debt that I had anywhere.
How much were you in credit card debt at that time? At its most back then.
All right. So back then, it seemed like an unsurmountable amount. I probably had 10 or 15 grand in credit card debt.
That's a lot if it cost 20 grand to go to college for 4 years. That's a very much.
But I mean, I all those credit cards were like in Bloomington, Pizza Express. Give me some breadsticks and a cup so I can go out to Varsity Villas and drink beer. So, you guys will get that. Or I blew it on stupid shit. Purple Passion.
So you're saying
I lived in Teeter Whistler.
You had that duplex and you moved back in with your parents to be rent free. So are you suggesting that part of becoming, financially successful involves sacrifice? Is that what you're suggesting?
That's pretty crazy.
Hard work.
Yeah, that sounds like bullshit. I'm gonna take a couple pictures next to a Ferrari and make my bank.
Sounds like you got lucky and you got a break. And
yeah.
Who gave you a handout?
You were born with a silver spoon in your mouth.
I was. Hi. Everybody here was just sarcastic. You get that right. All right, good. So to add to a little bit of it and be entirely fair, I did move into my parents' basement. And what I would like you guys to picture is that 70s show. That's what I want you to picture. Now, let's be really, really fair. It was out in the suburbs. It was on a lake. It was a mother-in-law suite where I had a huge living room that looked out over a lake. I had my own kitchen. I had a bedroom. It was a mother-in-law suite on the ground floor. It was sweet as all get out. That said, I would have lived in that 70s show basement. Mm-hmm. It requires sacrifice. This just does. Sure. If you come out, hi, earlier I preached to you, I'm going to preach to you now. If you come out and you need a Ferrari, and you need, I mean, honestly, Bobby already laid it out. He just did it sarcastically. Man, okay, I'm going to give it to you. Here's how I started. You ready? I bought a duplex because I was supposed to buy a tan crap box out in the suburbs on a winding street. I don't know if you guys heard this story or not, but I'm telling it. So when I went to college, I screwed up my credit. Every time you walked through the Union Hall, hey, T-shirt, bottle of Mountain Dew, I took it. So I had 11 credit cards completely maxed out. Now, they didn't give you much back then. The reason they give you credit cards in college is they expect you're going to go on to do great things. And they're investing in your future.
So they had it right, technically. I mean, you did fine.
It was a horrible return.
They just didn't know when it was going to happen.
So, it doesn't, in modern days, $11,000 in credit card debt, $18,000, $19,000 in student loans, almost 20. Doesn't seem like a lot. By the way, Logan in one deal can solve 3 kids who need their debt repaid. Please reach out to Logan and make that happen.
Yeah, if you guys are struggling to pay your bills, please reach out to Logan.
Because
he's more than happy to help.
Logan's not happy unless every deal's $100,000. It's just where.
Yeah, honestly, he might just burn that money, put it in the Traeger, and set it to $225 for 6 hours.
I'm very sympathetic.
Get it nice and tender.
I'm very sympathetic to sad stories. I give it away very easily.
Before this night is over, neither one of those guys will ever have me back again. So anyway, just really quickly, I had all this debt, and I didn't know what I was doing. So I bought into the American lie. Dream, and no bank would lend to me, period. And so as it turned out, I worked at the Summit Club. It's old school shit. I was the maitre d' of the Summit Club. I had to become a wine sommelier. And by the way, I'm level 3. which means that at one time back in the 90s, I could take a thing of white wine and I could swirl it and I could lift it up and I could say, that's a Sonoma Russian Valley American Chardonnay because of its earthy and its roundness. Or I could pick out a Cabernet from something out of Bordeaux. The reality of it is it's all sexist because women have a tremendously better sense of taste and smell. But the entire thing's men driven and it just shouldn't be. But I did that, right? And so I had this job, and one of the things about having this job is I used to debone fish and flambe shit and all that. One of my customers was Dick Waterfield. And Dick Waterfield owned Waterfield Mortgage, which is a huge thing. And he and I had a conversation. He said, go talk to Jennifer. And I went and talked to Jennifer, which is currently downtown on Berry Street in the Fifth Third Bank, and she was the hottest thing I've ever seen in my life. Sweet baby Jesus. I couldn't even think straight. She was an unbelievable blonde.
So what's her deal? What's she up to these days?
I have no idea.
I'll find out. I'll let you know.
I'm not as savvy as you, Bobby Kahn. So anyway, she said, you can buy a house, but we need you to change your pay structure to have a bigger base, and we need you to buy a duplex. Well, you know where there aren't duplexes? In 1994, 1993 at the time, they aren't in the suburbs. Nobody had a duplex. It was only downtown, man. So I looked at Lakeside, I looked at West Central, a variety of things. I had to change my pay structure to cut my commission and up my base. I took a bath on that. Probably cost me $7-8 a year.
Yeah,
because I had a sweet commission.
I have to do that. I have to lower my, the dividend payment things. I have to up my salary.
Never do that, people.
No, you have to if you want to get a loan.
I know.
Yeah, it sucks. You have to do it. Like, I have to pay significantly more. And the bank has all my accounts, but they're just like, no, you just need to pay yourself less dividends, the disbursements, and pay yourself a bigger base salary so we can tax you more.
I literally lost $7,000 a year for a couple of years. It probably, in total, cost me $21 grand a year. But anyway, they said you can go. So I bought a duplex in West Central. And I lived in the upstairs in the back small unit, and the downstairs paid my PITI and most of my utilities. Working at a restaurant, I ate for free.
There you go.
I was driving a 1979 Jeep CJ7.
Yeah, baby.
That I took to, 24 dead shows. The furthest I went was RFK.
I mean, yeah, fuck where you took it, but that's a nice vehicle.
So you're a deadhead?
I was.
Okay. You're over
Look
that?
at me, man. Now I'm a narc. Do you see the narc? Do you see it? I'm a narc. But at the time, absolutely. Man, I had the dancing bears across my Jeep. I was in. Right? Ripple, baby. Let's go. So I bought it. And the reality of it is the tenants paid the PITI. Tenants paid most of my utilities.
What is that?
Principal, interest, taxes, and insurance.
Yep.
Tenants paid most of my utilities. I literally paid $40 a month to live, and I made a good salary. By the way, you know what my salary was? Are you ready for this? 1993. $20,000, either $400 or $800.
That's pretty good.
In 1993.
What were you doing then?
I literally was working the Summit Club. I was the maitre d'. I was drinking wine.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yep.
How old are you at this time?
I'm past 50.
No, I meant at that time. Like
at that
93.
time? At the time I bought that, at the time I went under contract, 23.
Okay, gotcha. So you're 23 years old, living for $40 a month. That's pretty fucking good.
I turned 24.
Started.
God,
right.
You guys started so much younger than me. I'm never gonna
when
make
you start,
it.
Logan?
23. 2000, what would that be? 18 or something?
So here's the thing. Real estate is a war of attrition. The younger you start, the better you're off.
Yeah.
And hi, there's been public service announcements a few times. Here's another one. Stop sitting on your ass and start. The sooner you start, the better you'll be. All right, I'm back.
Well, yeah, because I'll even have...
I like this whole fourth wall thing. I feel like I'm Deadpool.
Well, there's like I don't think we created a fourth wall, though. I mean, I think
we come in here. Wall. I'm fucking.
We're
Deadpool.
not trying to pretend like we're not being recorded. But yeah, you can be Deadpool on this podcast if you want us to call you that. We will.
So what'd you do? You bought a duplex every year until you turned 55?
No. So I bought the first duplex, and I lived for free. I was driving my old goddamn Jeep with the dancing bears. I think I can say this, but Bobby Klein has told me he will edit if I get in trouble. Fair?
Yeah, just, I mean, All
right.
You know what to do.
Man, I'm going to do it. So it didn't have air conditioning. And so I had to open all the windows and doors. I slept on the second floor. I'm really hot. I had a window AC, but I only used it a couple of weeks in August. I really am one of those old curmudgeons that goes, you don't need AC. As it turns out, I got married. My first kid came along. My wife said, kid needs AC. I tried to argue that Laura Ingalls never had AC, right? No. So I bought AC for my house. I never want to go back ever.
Yeah.
In fact, as we sit in this room right now, I'd really like more AC.
Yeah.
Fair?
Yeah.
I've become the biggest wimp in the world, but I used to pride myself on I don't need it. That's what you do when you go to college and you're in your mid-20s. So I have all my windows open. About half a block away, there's a guy, and he happens to be of alternative lifestyle. Fair?
You can say gay.
All right,
that's not a problem. Gay's not an offensive term.
Happens to be gay. I'm trying to sleep. He was amorous, and he would bring in homeless people that traded him a place to stay for carnal experiences. Hey, Bobby, I am trying to live within your
You're walking the
groundwork.
fucking line. I love it.
I'm trying to live. So
You can just say sex.
no. I'm getting ready.
I prefer carnal experiences.
I don't know.
I'm getting ready to open up. So a half a block away from me, with my windows open, I'm sleeping, and I worked basically second trick into the night. Right? There's a guy who lives down the street and he has his house, and you can only take so many screams of "take it, bitch." And like comments. Oh my god! You should see the red face.
What were some of the other comments?
I'm leaving it there.
No.
Reenact it.
I've heard the unadulterated version of this story, not for the podcast, bro. This is an explicit podcast, and it's still too much.
I told Bobby on the way up some of the things. We're gonna leave it at "take it, bitch."
Take it, bitch, and
Yeah, we're gonna leave it there.
Why do you want to know so bad, Logan? Like,
he does such good reenactments.
Screaming and yelling. So I decided that I couldn't sleep at night, and this guy was my mission. So I went to the landlord and I complained. And the landlord, and by the way, I didn't understand this. I thought you're supposed to just take care of shit on your property. As it turns out, you don't have to do dick. So I went to the landlord and complained, and he went, "Take it, bitch." You know what I mean? You should have seen Bobby Klein. He spit up right there. It was awesome. So anyway, I argued with him. And I just wanted this to stop. Just stop. There was no way to go. So I went to the landlord, and I went to the landlord, and I went to the landlord.
God, you're an annoying fucking tenant.
No, I was a homeowner.
he doesn't. He lives across the street.
I was a homeowner.
Okay.
Just a homeowner. And I thought that a landlord's supposed to do righteous things.
Oh.
He's supposed to fix shit. You know what? In the great state of Indiana, a landlord doesn't have to do fucking shit. Fair?
Amen.
They don't. They don't have to do a thing.
Love that for me.
But I felt, and by the way, me personally, I would have stepped in. I do believe that a landlord should do stuff, but you don't have to, right?
No, you don't.
So I
Yeah,
couldn't.
because Mike was answering a question. He's got 800 units, and he was answering an Airbnb complaint because somebody was like, "There's too many bees outside."
That
and
is
Mike's
really
like,
true.
"Man, I don't know how to reply to this." And I'm like, "Why are you dealing with
I
this?"
literally got a phone call from a tenant on my way to pick Mike up, and my response was, "How did you get this number?
yeah.
Like, call your property manager.
Nice.
Why are you reaching out to me?"
But
Mike's over here like answering complaints, and he's way further along than I am.
I truly believe, and it is not true, and it is not the case, and you don't have to, but I truly believe that a landlord has some amount of responsibility.
Well, that's
It's
fair.
just,
Yeah, sure.
It's just what I believe. I'm sorry. By the way, if you're watching this podcast, you have zero responsibility.
Yeah. What if your tenants are listening right now? You're good.
Man, the last guy that turned in his keys, I didn't even know him that well. And all of a sudden I get a call from the office. I'm down in the shop, like fucking with a grinder or something. Because I still work.
You're a nerd.
I really am. And I get a call, hey, your tenant wants to see you. The guy's leaving, and he's lived in the space for like 12 years. I don't really even know him that well. I came out, and he goes, I just want to hug you.
Wow.
It was weird. But I have those kind of experiences.
Yeah.
All right, so
So give it to me, baby.
hold on. I go to the landlord and I say, you got to do something. He goes, nothing. So then I go, okay, game the fuck on. So the tenant all of a sudden has dripping out of his ceiling. You with me? Mm-hmm. And he says something. And I go, oh my God. All you have to do is call neighborhood code.
Oh God.
No. It wasn't my house. And I said, you call neighborhood code and you tell them your ceiling's dripping and they'll make the landlord fix it.
You play fucking dirty. I like
So
it.
you know what happened?
They
Neighborhood code rolls out, realizes the ceiling is dripping, and they condemn the unit.
Wow.
Yeah. So the guy that I
Yeah,
had
you knew that was gonna happen.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I've got it. Hey man, if you want to circle back later, I'll tell you how I use neighborhood code as a weapon numerous
Ooh,
times.
I like this. I like the dirty games.
All right. So anyway, neighborhood code condemns the unit, kicks his ass out. Perfect. I was surprised. I was as shocked as anyone. I thought neighborhood code would make him. So anyway, the landlord, and this is where I was stupid, but it worked out. After I got his tenant kicked out, I go to the landlord and I go, you've got to do better. It's half a block from my house. I was one of those indignant, pretentious...
Assholes.
Exactly. Asshole.
Can you believe it, people?
Yeah, they know. They know. So anyway, I say to the landlord, I'm taking this property. I mean, like we got to... He goes, fine, fuck it, $9,000.
$9,000. Was it a duplex on that one?
In
duplex in West Central.
In West
Yeah,
Central.
West Central wasn't West Central.
Yeah, no,
All
West
right,
Central.
all right. So everybody should know.
Hang
Did
on. Finish your story. Finish
All
your
right.
story.
But West Central was a fucking armpit.
Yeah.
It really was, and I'll leave it at that. So this guy goes $9,000. So me being an idiot, totally naive, I was unmarried. I didn't have any children. I ate for free at a restaurant that I worked at. I had the oldest fucking Jeep you ever saw. It cost me like $25 a year for plates. And Indiana used to have a different tax structure. Indiana's property tax structure used to be based on depreciation. I bought a house built in 18...
You're talking about depreciation, and Bobby's yawning now.
Yeah, no, I bought, the house that I was built in 1885. Mm-hmm. There was no depreciation left. Literally, my property taxes were like $125. It wasn't based on value like today.
Yeah.
It was based on depreciation. Old houses cost nothing. I had more money then than I do now. So anyway, I went to the bank. I got $9,000 in cash, and I gave it to him, and he gave me a quitclaim deed. No title search.
Sure.
No nothing. Nothing.
Doing it the
and then,
right way.
And then I had to go file the quitclaim. Turns out he owned it free and clear. But the reality of it is that I could have,
Oh, there was
for
no liens?
$9,000, There was no liens.
Ooh, you got lucky.
But for $9,000, I could have bought a $50,000 mortgage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Lucky. But man, I was naive and I was young. So then what I did is I kicked everybody the fuck out and I boarded it up. Because the only reason that I bought it,
Why did you do that?
the only reason that I bought it was so that I could sleep at night without hearing "take it."
You
bitch."
were not aspiring to be a massive real estate investor at
I
that
didn't
time.
want to be a landlord.
You just wanted to sleep.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's funny.
How long did you leave that boarded up for?
So I went along, and then eventually around 2000-ish, I was down in Indy for a while working, and then I came back up to Fort Wayne 99-ish, and I got an F&B job. Restaurant people will know that's food and beverage, at Fort Wayne Country Club. I was in private clubs and things, and I'd spent my 20s as a hired gun. I was out in Denver. I was in Indianapolis. I was some places in Ohio. And I was the guy that you hired to come in, establish your restaurant, and like in 9 months I bounced. And if you know my personality, that's perfect because I'm a terrible employee.
You know what? I actually I did that
I'm
for a company
terrible.
for a little while too. I really loved it.
Really?
I
Yeah.
really
It was-
loved opening restaurants.
You did that?
Bitch. Yeah. Yeah. I did that.
No, it's righteous. 9 months and you bounce. I am a terrible employee.
We all.
Terrible. And on top of that, so you go into a place and you fix everything. And then you get into the rote work. I hate rote work. You know, just the what's wrong today will be wrong tomorrow, and it's just going to suck, and you're not high enough up the ladder to fix it. So anyway, I got fired. I actually got fired in Indianapolis at the Indianapolis Athletic Club. I came to Fort Wayne Country Club. Fort Wayne Country Club has this outdoor really cool thing called the gazebo. I opened the gazebo and some other things and did some changes and the library and all that. And then quite honestly, man, I don't want to manage it. So I got fired. So then I got a job at Orchard Ridge Country Club. I was the manager of Orchard Ridge Country Club. And there wasn't anything to do. And I got fired. I got fired.
Employee.
I got fired a lot. I'm a terrible employee.
So is getting fired all these times what made you decide you were going to be a landlord?
Yeah, so then I'm like, I got nothing to do. I got this couple of... I by the way, not only the gay guy ticket bitch, there was another one that I took too.
Okay.
And why could I afford him? Unmarried?
Was that one boarded up as well?
No, I boarded it up.
You boarded up both of the properties that
yeah.
you got?
Yeah, because I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, you just didn't want somebody else living in them.
I just want people to stop screaming ticket bitch at 3 a.m.
Eventually, you got all these properties that were boarded up, and you're like, oh, wait, I can make money off these.
Well, so I got fired from last time from Orchard Ridge Country Club.
yeah, you got fired a lot.
Yeah, I've probably been fired 10 or 11 times in my life.
Okay.
I'm a terrible employee. I'm a great boss. I'm a terrible employee.
yeah.
And I thought to myself, hey, I can fix these places up. And I was terrified. Oh my God. I was scared. In fact, at my first house, I had a gap. You see it? About that big in a window. I never fixed it because I was afraid I was going to break a huge 100-year-old window. I just put some plastic up. But
For those listening, it was about a 3-inch gap.
Oh my God, it was ugly. So all of a sudden I realized, Bobby Klein, for those that are listening, is about to do a play-by-play. All right. So I realized that hammers are just back like 100 years ago were this. Play-by-play.
Swinging his hand back and forth.
I realized that drills were this.
Oh, I don't know how to describe that.
He's churning butter.
Yeah, like churning butter, but not up and down. Think of like more in a circular motion.
But you guys understand that was a drill, and saws were just...
I'm not playing this game anymore. I'm done. Saws were very simple.
They're sawing.
So as a general public, you can basically accept that Bobby Klein folds.
Yeah.
Use that to your advantage.
Yeah, I accept that.
All right. So I just said that's what these guys did, and I have power fucking tools and a Menards or a Lowe's or whatever the fuck it was at the time, right? And I just tried, and I broke so much shit. But I spent too long being terrified. This window is 150 years old, or 120, 100. Oh my dear God! Well, but I learned to get past it, and it turns out old historic houses downtown are just huge wooden puzzles.
Yeah.
I like puzzles.
You know what's interesting to that point? So like I had a bunch of trailers in my mobile home parks that were like so shitty that I never wanted to touch them. And I sold a couple of them off to another person, and I was like, "Hey, listen, I will help you figure these out or whatever, but they're rough." And the reason I never touched them was because I was scared of them too. And then
I was terrified.
This person buys them, and now they're like, "Hey, we've got to redo this plumbing, like redo all the plumbing." And they're like, "You said you'd help, right?" So I go out there to help them. And then I realize while I'm helping them, I know how to do all this. And I just fucked myself for forever.
Yeah, you did.
Because I was being a pussy and wouldn't just get underneath there and do the fucking work.
Man, if all it is plumbing, that's a piece of cake.
It is. It is now. And you and I sitting here now with both of us having a pretty decent understanding of plumbing know that. But at the time, it was like...
I will tell you that I bought my first rental... I put my first rental property under contract at 23. Mm-hmm. I bought my first rental at 24. I was likely 32 before I really went, let's go. I lost 8 years. And why did I lose the 8 years? Because I was terrified.
Yeah.
Because I was afraid. Because I was a pussy, whatever that is. I mean, when I did that public service announcement earlier that said, just fucking get it under contract. Hi, how you doing? How you doing? When I said just get it under contract, you'll figure it out. Don't waste 8 years like I did. How many years you waste, Bobby?
2.
How many years you waste, Logan?
Logan didn't waste any time. Logan didn't even know he wanted to be in real estate when he bought his first fucking property. And he was like, well, I guess this is awesome. I guess this is what I do now.
I graduated college and I bought a property triplex immediately, and then
All right, so assuming you're not a dick like Logan,
Yeah.
and
why'd you guys waste so much time?
You're a reasonable person like me and Bobby.
No, but I mean, I wasted at least 2 years with properties that I totally could have fixed up. And I didn't have the money to pay someone else to do it, but I had the know-how. But I didn't even realize I had the know-how until I made it somebody else's problem, and then I was helping them, and then I realized I was the one actually solving all the problems.
You fucked yourself.
Well, I did and I didn't. I mean, I still made some money off of it after 2 years. I kind of fucked myself, but I helped a friend out too. So, I mean, I'm not mad about it. But the point is...
You sold it to a friend?
I did sell it to a friend, and she still owns them, and she's doing really well with them.
So what Bobby Klein just said is that there was something he didn't want to handle, so he sold it to a friend who kicked his ass and did it.
Yeah, she did. Ashton, she did.
Oh,
Ashton.
wait.
We need I want a good disaster story. I want like, you've been in business for 30 years and you've got 800 some odd units, and you took
It is not that aggressive, but it's up there.
You have a lot. You basically took a shithole community.
I did.
And you turned, like, for those who, if you're not from Fort Wayne, this is kind of hard to understand, but Mike is considered the king of West Central, essentially, because he took a shithole property or community, and he made it very nice to where it's one of the most desired places to live in Fort Wayne if you want to live in downtown Fort Wayne. Like, you have skyrocketed rents, you have skyrocketed comps, you have ruined the community for the people who are able to.
I really have. All right, man. So I never meant to be a dick, but to speak to that, I moved into West Central when it was a goddamn armpit.
Yeah.
I remember a block away from me, there was 1 to 2 murders a year. And so I started buying up my own neighborhood, and the very first thing that I bought was because there was this gay guy that screamed, "Take it, bitch," in the middle of the night. And I forced him out, and then I bought it for like $9,000, right?
Sure. So what's your disaster story though, man?
Oh.
So like,
So let me Logan real quick. So what I did in West Central, my own home downtown, is I started buying all the crap boxes. Mm-hmm. And I bought most of those West Central crap boxes for sub 30,000. I remember the best deal I ever made in West Central. I bought a house at the tax sale for $1,700. With me?
Wow.
I put roughly, and this isn't the exact figure, but let's be real. I put roughly $2,000 to $3,000 into it. Then I rented it for about 10 years at north of $650, where tenant paid all the utilities and did the grass.
Okay.
Right? So $650 times 12 times 10. I don't know what that is, but I'm sure I got my initial $1,700 plus $2,000 back, right? Never had a problem. Then I sold it to Electric Works for $135,000.
Yikes. That's awesome.
Wow.
Then Electric Works decided they didn't want that property, but they wanted another property of mine. So they traded me the property that I sold for like $135,000 for a property that I bought for $1,000 and gave it back to me.
I said disaster. This sounds amazing.
This is the opposite of a disaster.
So, but that was awesome. That's the best property I ever owned. I also sold some things that I bought for like $325,000 for $110,000.
Yeah. Okay.
So
What's the bad things that have happened?
You
to
see this
No,
back
I
here,
got-
bro?
Oh,
disasters.
Disasters. Yes. Yes.
one of the first properties I ever bought had a tenant named Joyce. And I don't want to go on record as saying that I am anti-Joyce, but what I will go on record is saying I've gone 20 years and no tenant named Joyce has ever rented from me. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay.
So I bought this place over on Fulton. Fulton, not Holton down in the hood, but right downtown by the ballpark. And my gas bill was outrageous. I thought I had it under control. I go over. She has the controller. You with me? And I put a lockbox on the motherfucker. I got this. I got it. My gas bill is still outrageous. Cannot figure it out. Do you know what she did? Any clue?
Bash that fucking box in and
No.
changed it?
Nope.
Put in a little needle thing.
She was
No.
I got it. I got it. She
You tell
ran
me.
her burners and her stove constantly.
Nope.
Then I have. She have.
And this is just a gas bill. It's not a gas and electric bill.
It's a gas bill for the furnace.
She's big into grilling.
She has control of the thermostat. But she doesn't because I locked it, but the thermostat's in her space.
I don't know.
Do you want to know the most diabolical, ingenious, I'm goddamn impressed thing that a tenant ever did to me?
Tell me.
I put a lockbox on the thermostat, but it was in her space. Every single day in the winter, she would take a Ziploc bag, fill it full of ice, and put it on top of the lockbox.
Oh my God, Joyce, you're a goddamn evil genius.
Yeah, that's a good.
That's so
a good
smart.
move.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good move.
For those of you at home who don't understand, your thermostat has a little thermometer in it, and that is what dictates when the heat kicks on and all that shit. So, like, to cool that down means to make the furnace run constantly.
Yeah. She was
Genius.
brilliant.
That is good.
Put the, and you know, like halfway through the day, it was a lot of melted, but ice, and she go dump it and put more ice.
Well,
in
and that water's just insulation, so it'll still keep it cool for a while.
the most brilliant. I mean, like honestly, I was so goddamn impressed.
That you kept her forever.
No, Joyce had to go, and I might add, I've never. It is what it is. I'm sure it's random. I've never rented to a single Joyce ever again. And I got like 300 tenants. I'm sure it's random, right, Logan?
Yeah, I'm sure it's not discrimination.
I'm sure it's random.
The next 20, 30 years of your investing career, obviously you've got some properties you're going to sell off and all that. Are you looking to expand? Are you looking to create more in certain areas? Or are you looking to buy more within your community?
You know, that's a great question, Bobby. I wrestle. So I've got a huge 1031 exchange coming.
Sure.
That I can't clear. I mean, it is literally unholy large.
Logan's gonna wholesale you something. Don't worry.
So what did I do? I went to the neighbor next door, Sheridan, and I said, "Hey, man, let's go." And quite honestly, that was a smoking hot deal. And then I went across the street, and I went, "Neighbor guy, help me." We're still working on that. But, I mean, I find those... I mean, like, you guys are in real estate.
But
We don't do stupid shit, right?
I do stupid shit all the time.
All right.
I think I understand what you're saying. You're not looking to truly expand for the sake of expanding. If you expand, it's within your community because you like having the and this is gonna maybe sound more negative than I mean it, but you like having that control of your community, right? Like,
no. I want to absolutely control in every way, shape, and form.
Okay, and I feel the same way, and I would own it just like you did, but I just didn't want it to come off as negative. But you're not looking to go spend. You're not looking to go put a couple $1 million into like syndication funds or anything like that in the near future.
3 caps with after that 2 caps and so on.
So there have been times that I've been stuck over the years, and I did at the time the Delaware 1031 exchanges. Mm-hmm. You're familiar with the Delawares, so
I'm familiar with the 1031.
Man, I own part of a storage unit in Alabama. I own some Subway franchise buildings in Iowa.
I own some in Arkansas.
Subway?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Subway rocks, right?
Yeah.
Eat fresh,
I've got
guys.
some money out in that world.
I fucking hate Subway, to be honest.
I love Subway.
We can go and keep going. I hate Subway. But
Yeah, this isn't right.
I would have never in a million years gone that route. I just don't want to fucking give the government 30% of my capital gains.
You just want to keep deferring the taxes over
Dude,
and over.
I don't care if it's Uncle Joe or if it's the orange guy or it's Obama. I don't give a fuck. You are not taking 30% of my money, 35%.
So that's what I'm getting at. Why don't you just do why don't you just die and let, and let your kids deal with it, because they're going to have the what's it called, the pass-through thing. Like,
if you set it up correctly.
All right, Mike. So obviously, you have more experience than most investors ever actually get to. So
I don't know about that.
You do. So on here we have a little segment called our golden tip. So give us your golden tip. What's it take to make it in this crazy fucking world?
So this would be a perfect thing to mention at a time.
No. We want it. We want it off the cuff, man.
Yeah.
We want it off the cuff.
Really, truly, you'll never fail on your first deal. If you're a brand new investor and you don't know what the hell you're doing, because we've all been there, zero clue what we've been doing, just fucking put something under contract. Because here's the thing, man. The second it's under contract, you'll figure out financing. You'll figure out how it fucking works. You'll figure out everything. Just get something under contract that makes sense. And man, I'm 20 plus years removed from that statement, but it still holds true.
I love that. I love that somebody as far along in the game as you are is still like, that's still your thing, where you're like, just do one. Like,
just
move
get it under contract.
forward. I love that so much, dude, because that's honestly like that's the advice that I give so many people when they're like, how do I get to where you're at? Which I'm nowhere near where you're at. But like when people ask me that, like that's one of my biggest things is like, you gotta move. Like that's the biggest thing. You need to move. Like,
Just step forward.
yeah. I love that, man.
It's as simple as that.
Well, Mike, you're amazing. Thank you for being on. I'm sure you're going to be a repeat guest here on the podcast.
I have no idea if that's cool.
No, it's cool for us if you do it.
Alex, here's your call out.
Yeah.
Wildman, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Jordan. Yeah, this episode dedicated to Jordan Wildman.
I don't know if any of this makes the air, but there's your 2 call outs, brothers.
Love that. So, so that's episode 6.
Where can people find out more about you, Bobby?
In the book.
I should have been here at episode 1. Fuck you guys.
Episode 1 was all about your boy Bobby Klein. So,
Oh my God.
most important guest first. So you guys can catch me on Twitter, which I just downloaded. So there's nothing on there yet. At Bobby Klein 89. You can also catch me on TikTok at Bobby Klein 89 and on Instagram at Bobby Klein 89. Logan, where can people learn more about you?
Twitter and Instagram at Logan Zuber 17.
All right, awesome.